Hello, Feuzion. My name is Alex Fuse, the host of Fusion News. Today is November 8th, 2017. I have another big show for you right now. I am on Google Hangouts with four Glens Falls football players. They are playing in a big game this weekend on Friday. So, guys, how are we doing today?
Good.
We have Andrew Rizzo, Thompson Collins, Kyle Vachon, right?
Correct.
All right, and Sam Hogan. We'll start off with Thompson. How are we doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's a Michigan jacket, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I'm an Ohio State fan. Sorry.
Hey, go Bucs.
Sam, how are you doing tonight?
Awesome. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, again, yeah. Kyle, how are you doing?
I'm doing awesome as well. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. And Andrew, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me. Go Bucks.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys are off a huge victory on Saturday. I was at that game, and I said it was one of the greatest high school football games I've ever seen. Glens Falls, of course, defeated Schuylerville 40-37 in an overtime win. What was that game like for you? We'll start off with Thompson for that one.
That game was really incredible. Just, all buckled down and did what we had to do. We started off really slow, but we went into halftime and talked it out and just came out with a great game plan thanks to our coaches and our leaders on the team. We just did what we had to do to win.
Andrew, what about you? What was that game like for you?
That was like no other. I mean, I played in the state championship game last year, and just reflecting back on Saturday's game was very special. To beat a tough team, well-coached team like Schuylerville was pretty incredible, and now we're on to bigger and better things. So, yeah, great game, but we're past it, and we're on to the next one.
Now you guys are playing the team Governor this Friday night. I think I said that one too as well. Kyle, what was that game like for you?
I'm gonna have to go off what Andrew Rizzo said too. It was like, for me, it was probably the second best game I've played in. The first was obviously the state game, but it was a back and forth game, very much like the state game. But unlike the state game, I didn't personally feel in control of this whole game. I really thought that Schuylerville had taken the reins the first half, that we really had to come out in the second half with a spark and really punch them right in the mouth from the start. The state game, we were far up pretty much the whole game, but a few mistakes cost us here and there, and we just had to come back from that. So being able to do it with my friends I've had since I was in fifth grade with, it's something special and something I'm gonna have to tell my kids when I'm older.
Sam, what was that game like for you? I know you didn't have a great first half, but then you had a phenomenal second half, and that led into overtime. What was that game like for you again?
It was a unique feeling, quite honestly. We don't usually go down, like I said, on Sunday, and our team handled it very well. I was very excited that we were able to get back into the game from being down 15 right off the bat. I thought we played excellent in the second half, and that eventually led to going into overtime and winning the game.
I keep talking about you guys trailing going into halftime. What was going through your guys' mind individually? Wow, our team is trailing going into halftime, and that's something we are not used to. Thompson, what about you?
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking like this is a new feeling for us this year, and we really just gotta talk it out. And I remember I went over to Andrew Rizzo and I said, "Hey, we gotta play better on the line," and he agreed with me, and we just kind of came up with a strategy with the linebackers, Kyle and Dakota, and we decided that that was going to be the end of us trailing there. We were going to come out with a lot of firepower and come out and win this game.
We'll go with Andrew next. What was going through your mind going into halftime?
Yeah, halftime was great. It was a great time to take a deep breath, figure out the game plan on how we were gonna react to being down. I couldn't tell you the last time I was down in a football game in the first half, and just to see the leadership in the locker room there, and everyone just knew that if we stuck to the game plan, our coaches knew what they were doing, and everyone ropes and everyone ride, and we got it done.
Kyle, what about you? What was going through your mind going into halftime?
Again, like Rizzo said, it was just I can't remember the last time that I've been down at halftime, and the last time that Glens Falls football was down at halftime was the 2015 sectional final against Schuylerville, which was I kept on thinking like, is this going to happen again? But I refuse. At halftime, I said to myself, no, this is not going to happen. I'm going to have to buckle down. The first half is done and over with, and if I want to play football for another week, I really got to trust what my coaches laid out on the game plans for us and trust the players around me, and that's what I did. And I just did my 111th, and we moved forward. So.
Yeah, I remember I was on the Glens Falls side I was standing at the fence there, and all I heard was the Glens Falls fan section chanting, "We want it more." So basically, what you're saying, that was going through your mind going into halftime, and especially it has to be in back of everyone's mind. This is the team we lost to 2 years ago, and then of course you bounced back last year and won the state championship, and now it was a rematch from 2 years ago. So this is when you really want to get your payback on Schuylerville. Right, Sam?
Right. Like I said, it was a unique feeling, but I think at halftime, I thought there shouldn't really be a problem. Our defense is anchored by one of the best. Our defense is one of the best in the state, arguably anchored by the people here tonight. At halftime, I thought we had this. If our offense can get out firing like we had the ball at half, I didn't think there was going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Glens Falls and Schuylerville are really playing great games. And then it gets tied 37-37. Now you guys go into overtime. What was going through your mind? I know this is a crazy game to begin with, trailing at halftime. Now it's tied up. You miss a few field goals here and there as a part of the team, and now it's tied going into overtime. What was going through your mind knowing this is a crazy game to begin with, knowing that it's in overtime? Kyle, what was going through your mind?
What was going through my mind was as I was watching the coin toss for who was at the ball first, I said if we go on defense, we're going to win this game. As I look around the field, I see players like Quinn Gerard, Aaron Sampson, Thompson, Andrew Rizzo, Dakota Trombley, and we're just saying we're going to lock it down, and we're going to really hold it down for our school. And if we got on defense, like I said first, the game was over. So once we had that stop, and then maybe we weren't really as close as we wanted to be for our field goal, but I had all the faith in the world in Sam to really boot it through, and he came up clutch.
Sam, what about you?
The adrenaline was pumping. I definitely could feel that, but my teammates were there for me. I felt actually surprisingly really comfortable. After looking over the game after we won, I felt a lot more anxiety towards the situation than I did feel in the game. And I feel like that's the better way to have it. So instead of having it in the game, I felt it after. I feel like partially that was from my coaches, my teammates, telling me that it's going to be fine. You're going to make this. There should be no problem. And it worked out well.
Yeah, definitely. Thompson, what was going through your mind going into overtime?
Yeah, it was a lot of emotion, and I don't even know how to really describe it. But as Kyle said, we all looked around and we said we want to play another week of football. We don't want to go to our winter sports yet, and it's going to come down to our defense. We said it all game. The defense is going to win this game, and we really just said we're stopping them here. They're not getting in the end zone. And we did just that. And then Sam came up with a great kick. We had all the faith in the world in him, and no one thought that he was going to miss that for a second.
Mm-hmm. Andrew, what about you? What was going through your mind going into overtime?
A lot. But I did know one thing. I knew if we got to overtime, I knew just Glens Falls toughness would set in, and I knew we'd pull away with the win. Like everyone has said tonight, we had so much faith in Sam every day, kicking, doing his own workout, getting the job done. And how could you not have faith in what we think a Division I kicker? And if he keeps working at it, just more and more accolades are going to come for this kid. And we used him in the right time and found a way to win a game.
Mm-hmm. How much relief was going through you guys once Sam kicked the ball and you guys realized you won the game? Thompson, what about you?
Well, Actually, I saw Sam's kick go up, and everyone started running at him, and I kind of just was watching the ball, and I was thinking to myself, I said, I got to make sure this ball goes through before I go after Sam. And it was looking a little short at first, but it luckily made it through, and then I turned around and sprinted after Sam, and it just pure happiness. And I was so proud of Sam for making that kick, and I just, had so much faith in him to make that kick. I didn't think that he would have missed that at all, and I was just overwhelmed with emotion.
Andrew, what about you? How much relief did you have once you realized Glens Falls won the game?
Same as Thompson. I looked up. You can watch it over and over, and I'm still looking, and I'm leaning back, putting my head up. I was like, does that have the distance? And the minute I saw everyone going, I just threw my helmet up and ran after him, and then ran to the fans and was like, this one's for you. And like I said before, it's over with, and we're on to the next one, and we're ready to get the job done this weekend.
Mm-hmm. And Kyle, what about you? What was going through your mind when you realized Glens Falls won the game?
My reaction was similar to Thompson's. Like, when he kicked it, everyone started running after him. But if you watch the video, I'm like one of the last people to really start running after Sam, because I wanted to make sure that went in, because personally I didn't think it had enough, but it obviously did have enough, probably by about 1 yard. So once it went in and I saw the officials put his hands up for that, it was good. I ran after Sam, and it was just this weight, like, felt like it was lifted off of my back, that we finally made it out of probably arguably the best section of football in New York. So coming out of Section 2 and finally being Section 2 champs after all this hard work, and comes down to one kick, and that was for 1 yard out. Maybe it hits a crossbar and we're going into another series. But it just felt like there was a weight lift off my back, and now we're moving on to play in the state playoffs, which is what I've been fighting for this whole year.
Mm-hmm. And we'll end this question off with Sam. What was going through your mind when you realized your kick was good and that Glens Falls won the game?
Well, prior to the kick going through, just as they were saying, I actually had that same feeling that they were. Joe Girard actually was tackling me before the ball was going through, and I was looking up, trying to see if this thing went through. And then as soon as it went through, just everything, it was just like an eruption of cheering and all my teammates running after me. I couldn't even think at that point. I was just like, before I knew it, I was lifted up in the air by my teammates and my friends around me. It was great.
Sam, some people might not know this, but you are nationally ranked as one of the best kickers in the whole country, right?
Correct, yes.
That's just awesome, man. That just adds on to the fact that Glens Falls does have a real chance to be repeat champions in the state championship series. I'm excited to see what is next for you guys, of course. Now, of course, this big game on Friday, what is going through your guys' mind and leading up to this big game and the game plan that you guys are planning on doing on Friday? Thompson?
Coach always sets out a great game plan. We have a fairly routine system that we go through, and it's just a great system. It gets us ready for every week, and we're just going to follow that same game plan, adjust our defense a little bit, adjust our offense, and prepare for this team. I don't think that when we're playing at our best, and I don't think anyone is going to be able to beat us this year. I think we're just too powerful, and we have too much heart.
Sam, what about you? What do you think the game plan for you will be going into this big game?
I like to think of it as this week I'm more of a defensive player as I'm an offensive player. Every time I go out to kick off the ball, my goal is to just drive it and get back to the end zone to get as room for my team to defend, so they're not having to defend shorter yardage. If I could get a touchback every play, then that's the ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm. Kyle, what about you? What is your game plan personally going into this big game on Friday?
For this game Friday, I want to personally match the North Country toughness, because I know I have family living up there and cousins, and I know that living up there at maybe not all farmers, but these kids are pretty tough. So with the weather playing into a factor as well, and I know these kids, they want it just as bad as us. I mean, they probably don't have the skills like us or the heart or anything, but I know these kids want to win too. They're coming off 10-0. It's probably one of their best seasons in program history, and they're gonna play tough. But we got to match it as well, and we got to let our skills and our heart do the rest for us. So that's my game plan.
Mm-hmm. Now you talk about the weather. I know it's going to be 28 degrees in Rotterdam, where I am, and where you guys are playing are 4 hours away. I don't know exactly what the temperature is going to be on Friday, but it's going to be cold, especially at night. Andrew, how exactly is that going to play into a factor, not only in your game plan, but the whole team's game plan?
Well, I hope it doesn't play too much of a factor for us. You know, you got to play in the condition that God gives you. They're going to be in the same boat as us. So you got to go out there, execute, and just keep it simple. Keep everything simple on Friday, and hopefully we can get the job done.
Mm-hmm. Kyle, what about you? With this crazy weather that's planned for Friday, what's your game plan for that?
My game plan is to stay warm and hit hard. I mean, no matter what you're going to do, it's going to hurt. So might as well just hit as hard as possible.
As long as I'm not on that field, I'm okay with that. Sam, what about you?
You know, my theory on it is that adapting to cold weather is just a mindset. I think that no matter how cold the weather is, I think that I'll just kick the ball if I can, and I think it's going to be a factor towards you or my team. I think those guys are going to go out and do the same thing that they would if it was 85 and sunny. Personally, it may change how much it hurts, like Kyle was saying, but I think that we're just as tough as they are, and they're going to go out and they're going to do their jobs.
Mm-hmm. I just looked it up. It's going to be about 15 degrees for the game. That's pretty cold. Thompson, what's your game plan going into that game for the weather?
I bought a couple more Under Armour shirts and get a few more warm clothes to wear underneath my pads. But this game plan is going to stay the same. I mean, like Kyle said, we're going out there. It's going to be cold no matter what, and I'm going to go out there and lay it on the line like I do every week, and I know my teammates will do the same no matter the weather conditions.
Now, I'm just thinking here, if wind, I don't know about the wind system up there, but if wind plays into a factor, is there any rules that are in the New York State rule book saying that if it's too cold, you guys can't play Friday night? Is that something that your coaches have talked about at all, or no?
No, our coaches really haven't talked about that at all. I don't know about that, if that's a rule or not, but no, our coaches haven't been talking about that. Our plan is to play Friday night.
Because I know I am the team manager for the Shelmont baseball team as I go to school at Shelmont. And I remember when the baseball team made the sectionals 2 years ago, the heat got over 94 degrees, and they were contemplating whether or not to either change the date for that game or suspend the game for later in the day when it got darker out. So maybe that is something to talk about when it gets closer to the day. But we'll switch gears quickly, and to wrap up the interview, your favorite moment of the season so far. Let's go with Kyle for that one.
My favorite moment was obviously the Section 2 championship game. I mean, the first half wasn't what I really thought it, or it was even not even a thought in my mind that the first half would come like that Skyvo would really come out guns blazing, that they would get off to a 15-0 start. But it just showed the Glens Falls football toughness that has developed for the program for decades now, and that it shows our resiliency as a team this year to come back from that and to battle the whole game from the first quarter to Sam's 39-yard kick in overtime. So that was obviously my favorite moment of the year.
Andrew, what about you? What has been your favorite moment of this football season?
Of course, I have to agree with Kyle. Section 2 final was incredible. For me, just relationships and bonds that we create over this game is just special, and to be able to do it for another week is incredible. And just the memories that I'm going to be able to tell my kids when I grow up about, it's going to be pretty cool to look back on.
Sam, what about you? What has been your highlight of this football season?
There's no real other answer for me other than that field goal that I had yesterday. I think that could possibly be the best moment for my career as a high school player. It was great. I'm still kind of off the ground with my feet, it feels. I'm kind of calming down, but I like the popularity that came with it. It's great, and I look forward to see what happens this season because you never know. Things could change.
Yep. And lastly, Thompson, what about you? What has been your favorite moment of this season?
My favorite moment was actually when we played Queensberry, when we were buckled down and win that game. And just after that, everyone ran over to the stands, and we actually jumped up onto the stands and were embraced by all of our student section. And that was just a really special moment, knowing that we were able to beat such a great team from Class A and show that we could compete in Class A if we had to, and that we were just a really great team. And Queensberry was a fantastic team too. They gave us a hard fight, and we just were able to overcome it. And that was my favorite moment of the season.
I forgot one more question if you guys have time. What is it like playing with Joe Girard III as a quarterback? Thompson?
Well, Joe's my best friend. I live right down the street from him. And I've been playing all sorts of sports with him ever since I was little. It's something, honestly. He brings everyone up to the level. He brings everyone's best out, and just a great athlete and a great friend. And I wouldn't want anyone else to be my quarterback. And that same thing goes for my back end. He's just one of the great, and he really a lot with the blocking. If I get messed up, he's right there, and Andrew Rizzo is too. And those guys just really help us out a lot.
Sam, what about you? What is it like playing with Joe Girard?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I think everyone on this team has the faith. We were down 15. I thought there's no problem. We have Joe. He's going to be able to lead us into the fight that we had to do in that second half. Just like in any game, he's going to be able to lead us the way to victory. And like Thompson said, there's no other person I'd rather have at quarterback. The guy's unbelievable.
Kyle, what is it like playing along Joe Girard and everyone else on this team?
My favorite thing about Joe is his will to win, that he really will lay it on the line for all of us no matter what, just to win the game. And the same goes with our running back, Aaron Thompson. I mean, if there's one thought in that kid's mind, it's winning. Like, losing isn't even a thought. That two of them will put on the line for me, and I'm going to put on the line for them. So playing with this mindset that Joe and Aaron and I have, and Sam and Rizzo and Thompson and the rest of our team has, I mean, so playing along with Joe, his mindset and the way he is as a leader really is what really sticks out to me, and it makes him a great person and a great friend overall.
And lastly, Andrew, what is it like playing along Joe Girard and, of course, everyone else on this team?
When the going gets tough, the tough get going, and Joe's the epitome of tough. Like Kyle said, he'll do anything to lead this team to victory. And once we got down the other night, everyone kind of puts their eyes to him and like, hey, what do you got? What are we gonna do from here? And he loves that. That's what he likes, and that's what he lives for. And just his confidence just brings us to another level. And like everyone else said, Aaron Sampson, Quinn Girard, Thompson, Poose, and Dakota, they're all guys that will lay it down on the line week in and week out. And relationships and bonds, like I said before, are just incredible. So it's a lot of fun playing with this group, and I hope it can continue.
Well, guys, I want to say thank you again for coming on my show tonight to talk some Glens Falls football, and I hope to talk to you guys very soon, and I wish you the best of luck in your big game on Friday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, definitely, of course. Yep. All right, Fuse Nation, thank you for watching this great Fusion News episode. I'll be going live tomorrow with Rennie LaRue, who is the head of the New York State Baseball Hall of Fame. I will be working that event this Sunday night where Paul O'Neill, former Yankee baseball player, and the voice of the Yankees, John Sterling, along a lot of others, including a whole nother list of great nominees and inductees into this Hall of Fame, where I may be potentially interviewing the voice of the Yankees, John Sterling. It's going to be a great night. I got a new suit for it. It's going to be a great event, of course. Thank you for watching. Follow me on Twitter @AlexFuse, and I will be seeing you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Thanks for watching.